Lifers Podcast. Get with it or get forgotten.
Hey, all you lifers out there. Welcome to the Lifers Podcast, where we are serving a life sentence in sports. This episode 30, we got a special guest with us, Mr. Cruz. How you doing, brother?
Chillin', man. Thanks for having me, dog.
Of course. And, our very own Mr. Lucky Lefty.
TJ in the building, baby.
Yes, sir. Speaking up, Cruz, you got something in the glass? You want to talk about what you got in the glass, or?
Yeah, man. Got some Johnny Walker over here.
Noise. I got a little whiskey ginger. What you got?
I got a little Firefly vodka and lemonade, little Arnold Palmer on the crooked side.
Love it. Hey, salute. We're gonna talk a little bit of ESPN top 10 players, man. We're gonna break it down. I look forward to it. It's gonna be a crazy barbershop talk to its finest.
No.
Nothing like it, bro. Nothing like it. All right, let's have some fun, man. So all you lifers out there, we're gonna break down the ESPN top 10 list. I feel like there's so much we can speak on here. And not only that, we're also going to, we're going to talk about the biggest mistake that we believe is on the list, as well as top 5, our personal top 5 all time, and our own all-time starting 5. I can't wait to get into that. But like I said, the first thing is the ESPN top 10 list that just came out. We have Michael Jordan at 1, LeBron James at 2, Kareem at 3, Bill Russell at 4, Magic at 5, followed up with Wilt at 6, Bird at 7, Tim at 8, Kobe at 9, and Shaq at 10. They're all great when we only got to call them by one name, so it's pretty sick. A pretty dope list. First thing I'm gonna start. I'm gonna break it out. We're gonna go right to it. Biggest mistake that you see on the list, Cruz. What you got?
Bill Russell was
number 4.
4. 6 was Bird.
6 was Wilt, 7 was Bird.
Okay. I think I'm gonna have to go right there.
Okay.
I think Bill Russell's a little low for me.
Ooh.
I think
When you say low, real quick, do you mean he's
hold on, yeah.
Let's get the vocab correct. When we say let's fix it. When we say high, that means he's closer to 1. If we say low, he's closer to 10.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. I think Bill Russell should be closer to 1.
Okay.
Closer
Okay. I'm listening.
For myself.
Me too. I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Sure. The guard play on the list, they're a dime a dozen. But we can't ignore what's the first thing we bring up when we bring up Michael Jordan? Championships. Bill Russell got 11. He paved the way. That's another thing. I was watching a podcast recently. They were discussing the media's total misinterpretation that Wilt Chamberlain was better than Bill Russell. When everything back then on TV, everything was really, oh no, Bill Russell's the man. And just the amount of championships he's got, everybody chases 6 from MJ. They forget the king is really Bill Russell. And championships alone. I don't care about the time difference, who he played against. There weren't bigs like that. His footwork, incredible. His post game, everybody modeled off of that. Our bigs, true bigs, which we're losing now. I think that's another reason why it's such a soft spot. We're losing our bigs. The game. I have no problem with the direction.
Stretch 4.
I have no problem. Stretch is great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being versatile and being all over the floor. Cool. But Kev, just like you said, yeah, we're 90s babies, but our generation, it was still intact. We had a set 4. We had a set 5. You had post game. You were actually down there. You were down there banging and rebounding. You weren't taking the ball up, shooting threes and all that. So I'm gonna have to go there.
I know TJ's itching. He's itching to say some shit about that.
I want to hear it.
I'm gonna give you the floor before I ask you what's your biggest mistake on the list. What's your rebuttal?
Issue I have because I feel Bill Russell is a little too high.
I think he's too high.
I think he should be in the top 10. I give credit where credit is due with the rings, but the league was watered down. There wasn't as many teams. Wilt used to give him the business. Wilt was dropping 30 on Bill Russell back then, and double-double was a double-double machine.
I hear it.
I just think that the Celtics team
Mhm.
was better than
They had a lot of pieces. They had a lot of pieces.
for that era.
Mhm.
So
They
that's
had a lot of pieces.
my argument with Bill Russell. I don't think he should be 4. I think he should be
Where would you put him?
top 10.
Okay.
I would put Magic ahead of him. I would definitely put Magic. I would contemplate Bird, and I would contemplate Kobe. I'd pick
Kobe, no Bird, yes, for me.
10 for me. He'd be between 8 and 10 for me.
So, Cruz, I actually want you to answer the same question you asked TJ. So, if you're moving Bill Russell, who are you moving out?
Give me top 3. Jordan.
So Jordan, LeBron, Kareem. Are you moving Bill above Kareem?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's fair.
100%.
Okay,
I'm not moving him more than that.
that's.
I'm not moving more than that.
I'm sure we'll get a little bit more into that, but I just want to make sure that way there's no one thing that we on the Lifers podcast, we try to make criteria in this bitch, because I think the biggest mistake that people make when they talk about these all-time lists is they don't give criteria. They don't talk about why they chose what they did.
Yeah, and why that popped in my head so easily. Anytime I go into that conversation, I mention him as top 3. They got him right outside of it, but I always mention, Bill Russell's top.
Okay, that's interesting. Move forward. TJ, what's your biggest mistake that you see on this top 10 list?
Hakeem Olajuwon's not in the top 10.
Talk to me.
The dream.
I don't care. Like, for me, I'd put him over Shaq. He would have been my 10th guy.
Oh, you heard me, TJ.
Here's why.
I'm listening.
He beat Shaq in the finals. They went head-to-head. We've got it proven. Shaq has admitted Hakeem in the business. Steals. He's in the top 10 in steals as a center.
What year was Shaq in the league, though, when they faced?
3.
Shaq was
very early.
5th. Shaq came in 92 or 93.
I'll look it up. You keep going.
Fact check me on that.
I gotcha.
They played in 97, 96, 95, 96. So Shaq might have been a 4th year in the league.
A little raw still, but
top league leader in blocks, top 15 in points.
Yo, I was right. It's 1995. So Shaq was 3 years.
Top 10 in steals. You can't for me, he's the best all-around center in the NBA. He can do everything. He could shoot, play defense. He's athletic.
TJ, you know,
2 championships, so we can't take the championship away from him back-to-back.
Yep.
Top 10.
Real quick, I'm gonna make TJ's point a little bit before I want you to rebuttal. Hakeem is the only player to ever, if you talk about, you're talking about the greatest of all times. So you're splitting hairs in terms of like who did what and when they did it. Hakeem is the only player to win Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and championship in the same year. So I respect it, and I want to hear your rebuttal, Cruz.
No, if he would have faced Shaq later, would it have been the same result? What was that? Year 3?
Year 3 for Shaq.
Yeah.
All right. If we're facing maybe a year 6, year 5, Shaq, I don't know if it would have went down like that.
But think about how old Hakeem was at that point. He was in.
True, that's not fair. Yeah.
Hakeem came in the same year as Jordan.
They didn't really match up as far as their primes go. But if in a perfect world I could put prime Olajuwon and prime Shaq.
Shaq was 22. Olajuwon was 32.
So you got a 10-year age difference.
If in a perfect world I could put him on the floor
the end of Hakeem's prime.
I think Shaq gives him the business if I could put them both on the floor in their primes. But just off of a physicality standpoint, footwork, they're both amazing. I'm probably going to give the better post game to the Dream. But just off of the physicality with Shaq's footwork that he still had, because Shaq was not just brute force guy. Shaq was skilled at that.
Yep.
I think in his prime, and I don't know if Dream would have been able to handle it.
All right.
I'm gonna have to. Shaq was brute force. I give you that. Shaq's footwork was great. He was a great athlete.
Yeah.
Worked harder.
Sure.
Better worker, had a better work ethic.
Hakeem.
He was a better defender than Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is where I take it. Shaq would have a tough time playing in this era. Hakeem wouldn't. Hakeem could play in this era.
I don't agree with that. TJ, I do not agree with that.
You do not.
No.
Why
no.
But
No.
but
Players
yeah,
would have a hard time. Players would have a hard time with Shaq. Let's not act like.
But not because of
think
Shaq's
so?
skill level. How he would fit in these teams, how they're set up.
I don't care.
It would be
He was
bumpy.
the people don't understand. Shaq was the pre-Giannis, before Giannis. Like, let's not act like Shaq wasn't the first dude at that size, at that brute to get the ball full court and drive and kick. And like, Shaq could play at this level. And
Shaq couldn't.
I'm talking
his entire career. That's where
Here's
has
the problem.
he was the better worker. But
My thing is Shaq can't defend the screen roll, so that's where he would have trouble.
that's not. But I'll tell you this.
Pick and roll situations, he'd be a defensive liability.
I don't know if I don't think if what I'm trying to say is that I can't disagree with the defensive liability thing. I don't think it's going to be as much as you think, because we do have bigs out there that get exposed. Like Hassan Whiteside is still effective, and he's a liability technically on a screen and roll, right? Jokic is a liability on a screen and roll, right? But offensively, how much better he would be versus anyone. And you're talking me put Draymond Green at 5 guarding Shaq? I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. You put any of these fives, any 5 in the league, Jokic, Ben, Joel Embiid is just as much of a liability as Shaq would have been, and he does not lick Shaq's coattails.
But he could step out at the perimeter though on offense, so it
and shoot the ball. But either way, and we complain that he does it too much, right? Because he should be able to get that ball and post up and just jam on it. But all I'm saying is that positive that Shaq would have would be way more than the negative that we think. He's not a slow guy. Like, he was a super athletic guy for his size.
So you're saying Shaq would give him the barbecue chicken
All day. And that honestly probably leads me to mind. That leads me to mind. I think Shaq, the biggest sore spot that I saw is Shaq. Shaq should be higher than Tim Duncan. This thing pisses me off. This whole like Tim Duncan better than Shaq thing irks me, because
where's
Tim
Timmy?
Duncan. Say it again.
What number is Timmy?
Timmy is 8. Shaq is 10. Okay. The big argument versus Shaq is that he had Kobe. Okay. Well, people forget that fucking Tim Duncan going into the league had the Admiral, literally one of the greatest top 13, 14 players in NBA history.
Robinson, baby.
Going into his rookie year. And arguably one of the greatest coaches, so did Shaq with Phil later on, right? But not during that Magic series with Hakeem Olajuwon, he didn't. So they both had great teammates. Shaq is the most dominant player in NBA history. This goes into my criteria. I look at NBA greats as, are they marketable? What career would I want? Whose career would I want to have? Dominance. How do they affect the game and change the game? And I already said marketability. And for that, Shaq goes above Timmy to me. Like, Shaq as a businessman changed the game. As a face of a franchise changed the game. As the way that the game's played and foul calls changed the game. The most dominant person. My biggest mark I see is I don't see how Timmy goes ahead of both Kobe and Shaq. And I would love to hear anyone's conversation. And if they do have an argument towards me, I want to hear their criteria.
I can't argue. I don't think I can.
I'm trying.
I am not the hugest Tim Duncan fan. I think he's great. I give him all the respect, but I wasn't a huge fan. I think he's had great teams around him. You know,
Phenomenal.
He had Kawhi with Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. The second part of that run, and I agree with you with the Admiral. He had a great leader to learn from.
Arguably one of the most underappreciated players. One of the most underappreciated players, along with Scottie, is the Admiral, bro. For real.
I'm a huge Tim Duncan fan, but valid point. I think my appeal with Tim Duncan and a couple other people similar are he didn't have the athleticism of some of these other guys. It's just pure fundamentals is the best way you could describe it, and that's why I also
of course.
Shout out Kevin McHale. Nasty. I mean, didn't have that physicality, was ruthless. But yeah, I mean, I can't argue that.
That's all. But anyways, yeah, that's my biggest mistake I see under like my first thing when I saw the list. I was like, especially because when we get into the list of what's our top 5, which we'll get into, you guys are gonna be like, okay, I understand why he was so frustrated. But it's a little bit of a segue. Top 5 all time. TJ, I want to hear this. We're gonna give you the floor, set me the criteria, set me up, and give it to me.
My criteria is you had to be great. Number one, you had to have some great trait. Statistically, you have to be up there. You have to be an all-timer in something at one point in your career.
Okay.
Or approaching it. And the approaching it is going to be key for one person, and you'll know as soon as I say it.
Okay.
My number one is Mike.
Wait, are we gonna go 5? Go 5 under. Go 5 down. My bad. Go from
5 down.
Yeah, 5 down.
5 down. Okay. Number 5 is Magic Johnson, all-time assist leader. I think he changed the game. He brought the NBA back from tape delay, and he led some great teams. He's been to the finals, I believe it's 9 times. Won the NBA
9 times in 12 years.
Won the NBA championship as a rookie with my guy who's number 4, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all-time scorer in the NBA, has the longevity, has the game, played forever. So he's my number 4. Number 3, Wilt Chamberlain. They changed the game when he got in. They had to change the game. Did all that stuff to help other people defeat him. He was also the all-time leading scorer for a while. Scored 100 points. Like, Wilt's the man. 2, go with James, as Shannon Sharp would call him. I think he's going to crush every statistical category if he stays healthy. He'll be the leading scorer in the NBA. I think he's already there in minutes played, rebounds and assists. He's going to approach. He'll be top 5 in all those categories, if not number 1, because he'll have the longevity like Kareem. Number 1, Last Dance. We've already been talking about it. It's the GOAT.
Man.
So enough said with that one. I don't even have to go into that
You don't even got to go into it.
Ultimate competitor. Like, we could all talk for hours on him.
Wait, do you have Kobe?
No.
I did not have Kobe. Kobe is not in my top 5.
And that's okay. By the way, I'm gonna make the little chart of all of our top 5s. I'm gonna put that shit on Instagram, and we're gonna see. I'm curious how people are gonna react to it. So it's on wax, like we like to say on the Lifers podcast. You put it on wax. So,
and we are not going position by position, correct?
No position by.
No.
That's later. And I gave my love to my bigs, man. I got 2 bigs in my top. So I respect the post game.
I'm gonna disrespect the shit out of the post game. Go for it, Cruz. Give me what you got. Your top 5.
All right. So just like you, I'm gonna have 2 different lists here.
What's your criteria, real quick, so that way we know?
Oh, okay. Criteria, rings, absolutely, championship, baby. Making your team better. How they are with you, how they are without you. There's a whole lot of people that are on teams. Sure, they had a lot of pieces. You take them off of those teams, it's gonna be effective. I want to see how much better that was just because of your presence. True MVP. Yeah, got to be all time in something. I'm gonna take that off of TJ. Absolutely. So I'm gonna go into 5. I'm gonna have to agree. Magic, baby. Showtime. One of my absolute favorites. I mean, this dude speaks for himself. After that, I'm gonna have Kobe. Okay, he's on my list as well. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw Kobe in the mix. The Diesel, Shaq.
Ooh.
Yes.
The big Aristotle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My man Bill Russell's on the list, so that's my 2 bigs. Okay. And after that, I'm going The Last Dance. The man, the GOAT, the myth, the legend, Michael Jordan, baby.
Oh, I love it. TJ, anything you want to say to that? I know you don't have Kobe in your top 5, so I don't know if you guys want to kind of go at that. Or you want to ask him why?
I can't really go at it. I don't like.
Is it a personal fan?
Everybody has their own criteria, like we said, and you can make an argument for Kobe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't. He's got 5 rings. He's got the rings to prove it. He did it in 2 eras. He did it with 2 separate teams. He's got a 3-peat. Like, he's up there in the top 5 for scoring. Like, you can make an argument for Kobe. So I'm not going to. I don't have really much to rebuttal about that.
Okay,
Gotcha.
That's fair. So my criteria is, so I have a mix of this. So what was the highest? What was your prime like? What is your prime, and how strong was that? How marketable were you for not only your team but for the NBA? Longevity. I do value longevity.
Gotcha.
You have to be an all-time in something. I think we can all say that. You got to be an all-timer. Championships, team that you were surrounded by, and then whose career would I have wanted to have? So it's a little bit of a little bit different than most people have, but like, what career would I would have wanted to live? And there's a little bit of a, I am a 90s baby, so I have a hard time, not that I don't respect, anything before the 80s. I just don't feel like I'm responsible enough to know what it really felt like to be able to put people in my top 5 that are like that. So it's no disrespect to those people, your Bill Russells and your Wilt Chamberlains.
Yeah.
I have to speak from my perspective of how all those things came together. So my top 5, and I fucking had trouble. Number 5, I have Shaq. You're talking about as marketable as they come, all-time most dominant player of all time. Championships, you already know. Team, he led a team in his 3rd year to an NBA championship, so he has the ability to carry a franchise. Yes, he won his championships with Kobe and all that, but you saw the ability for him to do it. Longevity, I mean, he played 15 years, and then the NBA, and 11 of those were legit. He won on multiple franchises with the Heat, with the Lakers. So his prime is I mean, you can, like I say, is the most dominant. Number 4, and oh man, I have a hard time with this one because I don't want to put him in, and I'll explain why, but I'm going to out of a little bit out of respect, and it's Magic. Magic covers all those boxes except team. I think he was surrounded by the most stacked team out of anyone in my top 5. You don't come in like, you're gonna say you're gonna come in the league with Kareem, who we all said was, we all are top. You have him top 3 or top 4, so his team was so stacked from the beginning that I don't know how great he would have been if he would have been like Shaq on Magic. So I just don't know. But he's still number 4, so obviously I think he's great. 3, I have the hardest time with. It went from, God damn it. I'm gonna put Kobe in there, and this is the reason why. He covers everything we just said. He won with multiple championships. He won with multiple teams. He's as marketable as they come. He's as prime as they get. 81, we all know. He's also the closest thing to Michael Jordan, and he's our generation's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan being number 1, and we're not talking about he's like that far off from Jordan. He has all the stats. He has the points. He has the assists. He has the championships. So it's only right for him to be in top 5 in my book.
He's passed number 2 in some of those categories.
He has for sure. Number 2, I have LeBron for all the same reasons. And I'm gonna throw the biggest reason why I put LeBron above the other 3 was because in terms of whose career I would want to embody more than anyone else is LeBron. And I'm talking about on and off the court. This man has been a social political ambassador, which is something that Jordan got docked at, right? He's been able to stand up for most people. From the age of 16, he's been under pressure his entire life and hasn't done anything in the media that we've seen. He's still with his high school sweetheart. He's a father of the fucking year every year. He's marketable like all hell. He's opened up schools. He's probably had a better career off the court than he has on. And we're talking him being the 2nd greatest player of all time. So he does everything that Kobe does. And if you add the off court stuff, it's been that's why I put him above, the Magics, the Shaqs, and all that. But and then of course,
when your worst off court indiscretion
is the fucking decision,
and you were giving money to a boys and girls club,
which gets slept on. Thank you for bringing that up. He raised money. Maybe he didn't do it as right as we would have wanted, but he raised a fuck ton of money for the Boys and Girls Club. So we'll knock that off to whatever, to each his own. So that's one big thing that I put LeBron over a lot, put him in that position and feel okay with. And I really want to put him at one, but I can't because of Jordan being as great as he was and how he really was the one that brought up the market in terms of, selling so many shoes and sneakers and commercials and making movies. And so he made it just as much of an impact off court, except with the whole political and social, justice kind of things. But you can't take away 6-0. Led the league in scoring how many times, points per game. He's just a legend. He's the reason why he's the GOAT, and we're all watching the doc like the way it is. But that's my list. I don't know how you guys feel about it. But
your list is similar to Jonathan's, and you guys are a little bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that plays a part.
Yeah, finish it.
But I can't argue with either of your lists. I love Shaq. I just think from a work ethic perspective, he gets docked for me.
But this is my thing, TJ. I can't. So he's on record for saying like he didn't work as hard and do all that stuff, right? But my only argument with that is I think it's all horseshit. I don't think you're as great and as dominant as you are without putting. And he backtracks a lot. He says that he doesn't work hard, and then sometimes he'll finally defend himself and be like, I'm not as great as I was if I didn't work hard. So
yeah.
We all know real recognizes real. Somebody that big has to be working on his footwork, has to be working on his balance, has to be working on his game, has to be studying. Like, I think it's all bullshit. You're not the most dominant player of all time and win that many championships if you didn't work hard. So
I couldn't agree more.
It's just like Scottie Pippen saying, "I'm going to enjoy my summer," kind of thing. Again, the NBA season is a very, very long season. So Bill Jackson has stated that Shaq used the regular season to get ready for the playoffs. He knew that the season was going to be long, and he's going to be playing in the late June. So does those games in October and November really matter that much?
Right.
Yeah. But, and the only argument that I think people can make, and I think people get bothered by Shaq, and I don't know, I guess TJ can answer this, is I think Shaq might have never reached his full potential, right? Which is insane to say because the motherfucker averaged like 32 and 14, right, in his prime. But we're talking about a guy, if he would have had the work ethic of Kobe and Jordan and LeBron, he could have easily been the greatest player of all time, right? We can, if he would have reached his climax to what we all think he should have, he could have done whatever he wanted in this league. So I don't know. Is that fair for me to say? Is that where some of the malice of him not working hard comes from?
I wouldn't call it malice. I just think it's when you're splitting hairs in between trying to decide the greats, it's a knock against him. That's all. Like he won. What does he have? 4 or 5 rings? I think he has 5, right?
4.
Kobe passed him with the last one.
Yep.
He's got 1 with the Heat and 3 with the Lakers.
Yep. Should have been 2, by the way, if the Pistons at that time, which Jonathan and I talked about this, and we can probably add this. We'll do this another time. What are the greatest starting fives of all time? That Detroit Pistons when they injured Dwayne Wade, 2005. That should have been 2 championships with the Heat. Dwayne Wade got injured that game. We lost in 6 games. That's when he was chasing around Rip, and I remember that. I'll never forget because they won't ever say it nowadays, but I remember them specifically saying that Dwayne Wade was taking painkillers and taking steroid shots in the locker room in order to play the playoffs. I don't think they'll ever mention that kind of verbiage ever in playoffs ever.
For sure. And I think one of the knocks with Shaq is, yes, I do think it's bullshit. You can't be that level of skill and not work at your craft. But I think where it comes from is he's on our Mount Rushmores. We're not accustomed to somebody that we have at that level seeing the end of their career reduced to such low numbers.
The big Shamrock?
The
big Shamrock?
Like, you even saw Michael when he was in the car and he's on the highway. He was like, I'm not getting carried. He's like, Charles Barkley said he wants to get carried off the court. He said, I'm walking off the court. We saw, Kobe's numbers of his last year, better than a whole lot of players. Michael Jordan's last numbers, I'm going to pretend the Wizards didn't happen, but
you don't have to.
You don't have to. He averaged 20.
He was scoring 20 points a game.
Yeah, and it was still respect. Yeah, we saw Shaq stay in the league until he was averaging like 9 and 9. Like, maybe he stayed too long. Maybe he should have been in better shape. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it's hard, but you know that's my top 5. I think we're gonna even have more fun. I can't wait till we either get ripped or we get supported on our top 5s. But we're gonna have more fun with the next topic. It's our next segment. It's our all-time starting 5. And just to I guess the word of the podcast is criteria, but we're gonna set it up a little bit for this one as well. Our criteria for this is we're playing a best of 7 series in a championship series. What is your makeshift all-time starting 5? It doesn't have to be position-based. It can be who are the 5 guys you're going to put out there to win, and we're going to figure this out. We'll go ahead and Cruz, start it off. What is your top 5 starting lineup?
I'm going to put this criteria on myself just because I like the roster of a true position at every position. Okay.
So we're playing in the 90s? So we're playing in the 90s? Is that what you're doing?
We must be. We must be.
No, real shit. Because are we gonna do like, it doesn't matter what era? Like this, you're confident that this team is gonna win in all eras, or are you gonna just do 90? Because that's what I mean. Like, you're saying in the 90s, or you're saying fuck it, any era? This is what I'm gonna do.
Any era.
Okay, I bet.
Any era. Point guard, Magic Johnson. He's my 1. I got Magic right at the 1. I'm gonna have Michael Jordan. That's my 2 guard. I got Big Bronny at the 3. You're not gonna like this. I got Tim Duncan as my 4, and I got Shaq Diesel at my 5. That's my starting line.
So explain to me why.
Kev, before you have this play, run his lineup to me again.
I got you. Magic at 1, MJ at 2, LBJ at 3, Duncan at 4, Shaq at 5.
Okay.
Why? I think in unison, these players would fit and mesh perfectly. I have Magic. He can get me buckets if I need him to, but he's a true point guard. He's going to be setting up the offense perfect. Jordan and Braun, I don't even got to touch bases on them. They're going to do exactly what they got to do. Okay. MJ, he's going to be our main scorer. Braun, he's going to be running the wings, doing everything you got to do. Tim Duncan is my perfect fit at the 4. Shaq is down there banging and ripping. I got Timmy. He can step outside. He's got the mid-range jumper. When I need him down low, he's down low. He's not going to crowd my big man Shaq, who's going to be in there. My true big, my true 5, holding it down. That's my starting lineup. Any area you want to put it.
All right, before we get into it, I want TJ to name his starting 5, and then I want you guys to go at it why your team would be like TJ, why your team would be Cruz's team, and why Cruz's team would be your team. So TJ, I want you to give me your top 5 starting lineup.
Point guard, going with Goat James, baby.
Ooh.
Great assist man, big, tall, athletic, runs the floor, but can also dish. My 2 guard. The GOAT, Mike Jordan. No set. My small forward, Kobe Bryant. I got to put Kobe in my starting 5. The competitive fire with him and Jordan on the same team, you're going to have trouble.
All right, let me hear
Power forward, I'm going Kevin Durant. He's my stretch 4. Long, athletic, can shoot the rock.
We talk about this, Cruz.
Can post up. And my 5 is Hakeem. He can post up. He can shoot the mid-range. He can defend. He's athletic. We are long. We are big. We can shoot. You got trouble with my lineup, Cruz. Who is defending?
And they're going to be big time fighting over the rock. How is that team going to mesh?
Did we watch? Did we or did we not watch the Olympics with Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne, Carmelo Anthony? Did we not watch all them pass the ball and win a gold medal?
Olympics and regular season NBA are 2 very different things. That would be like comparing it to an all-star game. It's not the same. It's not the same. When you're really talking about who's running your franchise, what's going to happen with Kobe, Bronny, MJ, I think they're going to be fumbling over each other a little bit.
Nope.
I got my Magic at the 1 is going to be absolute no problem. He is setting up the offense.
Bronny's locking him up, baby. Bronny's locking him up.
Absolutely. I don't need buckets out of him.
He might not get it over half court.
I need no buckets. I want him true point guarding I don't want him to score. I don't need anything out of him. He's setting it up. The ball is moving. They can get their bucket, and he's going to have absolutely no problem. My paint isn't crowded. Timmy's actually stepping out. I want Timmy mainly getting me mid-range buckets, still rebounding when I need him. Shaq, paint is yours. You're set. They're running. They're dishing. The ball is going to be moving. And my prime Shaq, we already had this argument. I think he's giving your boy the dream to business. Problem again.
Disagree.
Go ahead.
Number one, Magic is getting locked up by LeBron. LeBron will average a triple-double on this team the whole season. He would average a triple. LeBron would get 20, 10, and 10. Number one.
No, wait, real quick, TJ. 20, 10, and 10, that means KD is averaging what, 15?
How's that going to work?
Somewhere like that.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're aware of that. Okay.
KD, we've already know, is willing to take a back seat. He's already done it. He did it with the Golden State Warriors. He didn't touch the ball a lot and was getting wide open shots. That's what he liked. He liked being efficient.
Mm-hmm.
His words, not mine.
Mm.
Michael and Kobe are going to lock up. Michael's going to guard Michael.
Yeah, those are wash. That's a wash.
That's a wash. So and even if we wanted to go LeBron guards LeBron, I would mismatch that, and I'd put either Kobe or Michael on Magic. And
I love your team on paper. I think my team plays better together.
I would have to disagree, especially
my team would function like a dream.
Especially if we're playing in this era.
Yeah.
In this era, I think you get exposed with Tim Duncan and Shaq because Tim Duncan cannot guard Kevin Durant, even in his prime. Kevin Durant is giving him the business.
My buckets are still coming from where most of your buckets are coming from. I still got MJ and I still got Bron.
Here's how I beat you. I'd put Tim Duncan and Shaq in a pick and roll with Kevin Durant. LeBron James, what do you do? And
Say it again.
And Hakeem Olajuwon, what do you do?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
If I put Kevin Durant with the ball in his hands at the top of the key, pick and roll with Hakeem Olajuwon between Shaq and Tim Duncan, how do you defend me?
Oh no, Kevin Durant on Tim Duncan. That's your best matchup. I'm not even actually worried about Magic and Bron. I'm not worried about that one bit because I don't need any buckets out of MJ. I mean, out of Magic Johnson, because I already have the same players you have where the most of our buckets are going to be coming from. And let's not pretend Timmy's still going to get his. Timmy can post up KD, and he's going to get his buckets. Is KD going to expose him off the dribble? Yes, he's going to expose him perimeter. Sure. But you're really going to be having Kevin Durant with the ball in his hand that much when you got Kobe Bryant and MJ? They're going to be what? They're going to run an ISO and let KD do his thing?
Pick and roll.
I don't think your team plays well together. As well. I don't see it.
I think you get exposed with the spacing.
Okay.
4 out, 1 in.
I think your space, my space is better than your space, and that's the one thing I think.
You're gonna have to go 3 out, 2, and I'm going 4 out, 1 in.
Your spacing is fumbling over each other.
No way. 4 out, 1 in. We're good.
You have an entire team that needs the ball in their hand to run their offense. Everybody. Your whole entire lineup runs the offense and the ball in the rough. Bron, set. And Magic Johnson being my point guard is, I think, probably in your mind the weak point. That probably makes my team the strongest that it is, having the true point. Because I have so many big offensive threats, I need that true point.
And we don't need LeBron to be the scorer. We need LeBron the passer that he is with Anthony Davis right now.
Well, that's already a wash. We both got it.
To do that. And we know we have the capabilities to do that. You and I both. He could play point guard in the NBA right now.
We both got him. Okay.
All right.
Where's your lineup, baby?
No, I love this, man. I love it. So I'm gonna play. I don't know if I'm supposed to I'm supposed to make it a fucking decision between you guys. I really don't. I'm not even going to, because I think
you have a lineup.
I do have a lineup. Oh, I can't wait to give it. My lineup. Okay, remember, I'm gonna preface it by saying I'm thinking like a coach, right? LBJ at the 1, MJ at the 2, Kobe at the 3, Dennis Rodman at the 4, Shaq at the 5. Now hear me out. Kobe, Shaq, we already know their pedigree, their championship pedigree. MJ, championship pedigree. LeBron James, championship pedigree. Dennis Rodman, championship pedigree. That covers that. What offense am I running? I am running a triangle offense with this team. Every single one of them run triangle. LeBron can learn. All he has to do is dish. That's all I'm asking him to do is dish. And it's the most switchable defensive lineup no matter what you're doing. And
Sure.
the big problem that what I think TJ has, Dennis has just got to be the greatest rebounder of all time and the dirty man, which every fucking team needs. And that's exactly what he is. So my team has stars, killers, distributors, and the do-it-all man in Dennis Rodman. If anyone says that's a bad pick, I'm gonna look at him and say this is a real team. The dirty man, every team. You look at Detroit. You had Ben Wallace. You look at the Miami Heat. You had Haslam. You look at Golden State. You have Draymond Green. You look at Shaq. You have your Robert Horry, all that, whatever. You look at even the fucking Bulls. You have Dennis Rodman. So, that's my squad.
I got a pro and a con for your list.
Okay.
My pro, what's kind of crazy is the pro and the con is the same player, Dennis Rodman. Okay.
Let me hear it.
Dennis works, and it's a pro at the same time for the same reason I have Magic Johnson a true point at the 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all those offensive threats, you need that guy that's not going to do shit except
The glue
rebound.
guy.
That guy's not going to do. My Dennis Rodman is actually Magic Johnson. He's going to just true point it up, lay back, all these offensive threats. You're using him the same way that I would use. But, concept, you're playing my team. Dennis Rodman is an absolute amazing defender. However, do
not disrespect him. Do not. I know what you're about to say right now. Do not disrespect him.
Timmy destroys Dennis Rodman.
Oh, no, exactly. Don't disrespect. Cruz, stop it. Dennis Rodman is arguably one of the top 5 defenders of all time. One of the top 5 defenders of all time.
Timmy Duncan exposes.
You know what? I'll even give you this.
Rodman.
If you're gonna win,
bro.
No. If you're gonna let me watch it. If you're gonna say that you're gonna your game plan
help footwork. What's he gonna do?
Listen, if your game plan is to win your game based on Timmy versus Rodman, I'm taking that all day. If you're saying you're going to run your offense through try to score on Rodman.
Extra offense. That's just X factor, extra offense. I dump it down low to Tim Duncan, backing up Dennis Rodman. You're telling me Dennis Rodman is going to shut down?
No one shuts down anyone. We're talking about the greatest of all time. All I'm saying is that I don't have to run offense for Dennis to be effective, right? If you take that matchup, no one stops Timmy, but he's going to contain him more than anyone in NBA history, right? You're talking about one of the great, and let's be real, I had a hard time putting Dennis because I wanted to put Scotty in there for the same reason, but I looked at it and said, no, I'm going to put a guy whose sole purpose on this team is to play defense and rebound, which he is the greatest, arguably top 5 to do both of those things.
Bro,
so
I'm
just
not
saying.
Rodman being able to handle a hook shot from Timmy Duncan. He's too small. He's way too small. The strength's not going to help one of the best fundamental footworks of all time. His strength. I'm sorry,
because I can even say that about LBJ putting Magic in the post.
Oh, again, that's not my offensive guy.
But no. I'm telling you because
Magic is a liability on defense, bro. That's what
he said.
Magic is a liability on defense.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You're making it seem like Dennis is a liability on defense. I'm saying fuck no, he's not.
Y'all are forgetting Magic Johnson was going head to head with Michael Jordan all the time.
And getting roasted.
What's that?
Been getting roasted.
And actually putting up numbers against.
I'll put it like this: Magic. No, I
think you guys are sleeping a little on Magic here. He was going head to head with Michael Jordan all the time.
He was going head to head with Bird. Let's not get it twisted. He was going head to head with Bird.
No.
Yes.
Their prime didn't exactly match up, so we never really got to see prime of those two. But I think Magic is going to hold his own just fine in this game.
All I know is that if I take what LBJ does best, which is his chemistry and his ability to manage a team at point, and to make smart decisions and not have to score. He doesn't want to score. Let's be real. He doesn't want to score. He doesn't even have to make. He does not even have to take the last shot or the second to last shot. That's why we got Kobe and MJ. So that's where we're putting him the best.
Take the third because he can give it to KD.
He can give it in your case, right? And for sure. And in my case, I give it throw it down to Shaq. You act like Shaq hasn't put a hook shot for a game winner ever.
We both had him.
I agree. So MJ and Kobe, we can all agree those are killers. It is what it is. Those are championships. If somebody can sit out and sit on the bench, rotate, and let Kobe be the man, or vice versa, and I think they're going to motivate each other, get the best out of each other. I just think in terms of team chemistry, and the one thing that you guys are forgetting, I am running the triangle offense, which every one of them have played except LBJ, and we're talking about the smartest IQ player of all time, arguably. Yeah. So he can learn that real quick, and that's shown in multiple franchises to win up to right now. It's nine titles that the triangle offense has won. So I don't know. I don't see how. And the whole KD thing, I had trouble with KD because Jonathan and I actually spoke about that because I was debating, who to put at 4 because my only issue with my team, and I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna go Eminem and 8 Mile Papa Doc style. We don't really have a 3-point killer, right? I don't have anyone to spread the floor.
That's the problem I have with both of your teams.
But my response to that is I don't need to shoot threes, and if whoever I need to shoot threes can shoot them good enough. Kobe can shoot good enough. Michael Jordan can shoot good enough. LeBron can shoot good enough. So I don't need a sniper. I would rather, instead of me having a sniper, have someone who's going to do the dirty work and doesn't need the ball in his hands. And that's why I chose Dennis Rodman versus a KD.
Yeah. The criteria was set beforehand, so I can't knock how the teams are set up.
Yeah.
But I think I have the most realistic lineup of what lineup would actually be.
Oh man, I'm not a huge dunking guy. I respect him obviously, but I'm not a huge dunking guy. I'm sorry.
I'm with you on that. I'm not a huge dunking guy.
Dennis Rodman is getting dusted.
By the way, real quick,
I value scoring.
You value scoring. I value versatility and team cohesiveness, right?
Also, two things. I value scoring, number one, and defense. I value length and versatility, and I think my team has that. I can switch everything. I can switch everything.
But each of us have a problem. So we each have a problem. Let's talk the problem out. I don't have spacing, right? I don't have spacing. You, TJ, there's not enough balls to go around.
There's not.
Right?
There's not.
Because you talk about spacing, there's just not enough balls going around.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan, that's two bigs that are too block dominant that need the ball, that can be exploited defensively.
You're going to be Jonathan. The problem with your team is, as from a coach's perspective,
Timmy doesn't need to be
pack the paint. I'm just going to pack the paint on you.
How?
I'm going to pack the paint because I'm going to fill the paint with as many people.
Magic can't shoot. Duncan can't spread the floor like further than 15 feet. Shaq can't shoot.
Duncan's got mid-range. He's not crowding Shaq. Duncan is just fine.
So you're going to leave. So you're playing Duncan on the high post.
At 100%.
You know that's not his strength.
We can guard you. You're guarded.
Because if you're saying that, then Dennis Rodman can guard Timmy on the high post.
Hey, if Dennis Rodman, all right, let's say I got Shaq and him. You're thinking he's going to crowd the post. You're telling me if I have Shaq on the block, Timmy's not still a threat from mid-range? Where's my crowd? And I still have the same main scores that you guys are going to have. I still have Braun and MJ spreading my floor.
Yeah, but you have a little bit of a similar problem as TJ.
Because you have a little bit of a similar problem. Play that's not having enough balls going around. That's going to be your problem with spacing. My spacing has a true position of everybody.
No, I think you have a similar problem as TJ where, do you understand, Duncan needs the ball in his hands to be able to play make. He's plays a high
against your squad, though. If I have, against your squad specifically.
Yeah, my squad.
Let's say if I have Timmy down low in the paint and I'm seeing Dennis Rodman, you guys are going to disagree with this, and I'm seeing Dennis Rodman, that play right there, all right, Shaq, all right, don't crowd the paint. Step out. Because I think Timmy would get exposed.
So by doing that, I take away Shaq completely from the game.
Basically.
No.
Playing 4-on-5.
That's a play.
So what you're telling me, the way, so just so it's on wax and we understand, the way that you're going to beat me in a flow of a game, obviously,
That is
your
no.
in the flow of the game
simply extra buckets when I need them. I am not running it through Timmy, but
of course, but in a game 7, in a 7-game series for championship, we're talking about X factor. We're talking about the X factor. What is your X factor in the series? And you're saying Timmy's going to give Rodman buckets.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's where we're saying, because that's on wax.
Yes.
TJ.
Yes.
TJ. No. And that's versus me. What's your game plan for TJ's team?
With you're talking about the problem with TJ already touched base on. We already argued that because he was saying that my problem would be KD and Timmy.
No, that's his mismatch for you. How are you going to exploit him with his team?
Not enough balls to go around on his team. My team is going to be moving the ball much better, playing together much better. I think his biggest problem are going to be the heavy guard play that he has. Everybody needed the rock in their hand. ISO ball, like that. I don't think that's going to work against my squad. And the mismatch with Braun and Magic, sure, 100%. He's got freaking huge point guard. Sure. I wouldn't have my team set up that way if nobody. LeBron can play point guard. LeBron has never actually been a point guard of any roster.
I feel like he's always been the point guard, every one of his rosters.
100% agree with you, Kevin.
Miami Heat still have Mario Chalmers on the floor.
And Mario Chalmers was in the corner. Michael Chalmers was look. He was a spacer. He was in the corner shooting big. Look, Mario Chalmers, I love him. Mario all day, but he was asked in the corner. He was asked to go in the corner.
But you have a guy that's on your Mount Rushmore, and you really believe that Magic Johnson is going to be a problem on my squad. For me,
I don't. I think the Duncan Shaq spacing is a problem, because by you wanting to exploit Duncan, it takes Shaq out. And by you wanting to exploit Shaq, takes Duncan out.
We've seen teams do it with two bigs. We've seen it, and it worked.
We have, but not versus our all-time great.
With people that weren't as skilled and versatile as a Tim Duncan. We've seen it with worse pieces than that.
No, we've seen Team Duncan work with the Admiral, which is the all-time great defender.
It's like a Lakers squad with Powell. I mean, versatile. Powell and Andrew, like it's the same concept. There was no spacing issue ever. Having the true big of Andrew Bynum and having Pau Gasol, who has a mid-range jumper, it was never a problem. There was never a spacing issue. I think there's a spacing issue with having a bunch of two guards who all average all these points, who are always have the ball in their hand. Michael Jordan.
My TJ's team, right?
Brown. All of these players. KD. Can he take a back seat? Yes. I'm less worried about KD than the other three. I think my team plays together the best.
TJ, go ahead and take a shot. What's your strategy? What's your strategy versus both our teams?
Yeah.
Versus your team, Kevin, our team is very similar with my advantage being Dennis Rodman versus Kevin Durant on the perimeter. That's the matchup. That Kevin Durant is my X factor against both your teams.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant's versatility is going to expose your traditional power forwards.
So let me ask you a quick question.
Defensively,
go ahead, my bad.
Our collective team length will disrupt your paint play.
Okay, my only retort to that is what Jonathan and I keep saying. I think you haven't acknowledged it. MJ needs the ball. Kobe needs the ball. Durant needs the ball. Who the fuck is getting the ball? And if you're saying versus my team, you're gonna go Kevin Durant over Dennis Rodman.
The thing with you guys that you guys are missing is you guys have the same problem. You guys have all the same. Everybody have Kevin. You have the same thing. The only person you're not giving the ball to is Dennis Rodman. You have Shaq on your team. You think Shaq's
I got one more.
I got clear rows. Is all I'm saying. I got clear rows. LeBron is the facilitator. I got two scores.
I want to.
LeBron, I'm in a 100% agreement with you with the LeBron as a facilitator.
For sure.
Moving the ball and making the right decision. So that takes the ball out of his hands when he deems it necessary.
Okay.
Which plays into Jonathan's argument about why he has Magic. Mm-hmm. I think LeBron does that and can do that.
If I played Kev, if I wanted to have a wash of no scoring, I'll put Magic Johnson on Dennis Rodman. But because I mean they're not going to even get buckets. That's not even a problem for me. But at the same time, really think about this. You have to think about. Yes, Dennis Rodman is an amazing defender, and he played the four. However, you have to think about the guards. He was mainly guarding very quick, guards that could take it off the dribble. They could have a shot. They weren't putting them most of the time. If it's off a switch or something like that, sure. He was still guarding bigs. They had him on very explosive guards. I actually think his matchup against your KD would be perfect, would be great for him. KD's trying to take him off the dribble. He's quick on his feet. The problem is if Shaq needs for a play to give Tim Duncan some room, why not? It happens in the NBA all the time. If he is set up in the post, back to the basket, calls for the ball, and he has Dennis Rodman right here, and all I do is dump it down to Timmy, Timmy's more of a problem for Dennis than KD is. Because KD trying to get it to the –
Dennis didn't play the perimeter for his whole career. He did it early, but he didn't do it late.
Most of his career. With
Detroit. Then he got moved to power forward, and he was playing inside. That's why he was guarding Karl Malone when he played with the Bulls. He guarded Karl Malone for most of that series.
How do you feel Dennis Rodman would face against Kevin Durant?
He'd have trouble.
Oh, come on.
He'd have trouble.
Stop. So listen, I am not saying – real quick.
I think that matchup is better for him
both
than
of your
Timmy.
squads against both of your squads, this is what I would do.
Okay.
I am putting your bigs in screen rolls, and you guys can't switch. You can't.
I can't switch with Dennis, and I can't switch with Prime Shaq and Prime Dennis.
So you're gonna put Shaq against Kevin Durant? That's what you're doing right now.
I'm putting Magic with Dennis Rodman.
Okay. I'll tell you. Okay, you know what? You're gonna play that game. You're gonna put KD on Shaq. Because if I do a pick and roll with KD and Shaq, and we put Shaq in the post with KD,
switching.
what's gonna happen? I don't have to switch. Then I don't have to switch because Dennis can stay with KD. That's all I'm saying. It's based on what you're saying. If we're talking about switches, then the same way that I agree, because I'll say you're right. If Shaq is guarding KD got a little bit. KD gonna get his. But if they switch and Shaq is gonna get his on KD, I'm sorry, and he's gonna get him in foul trouble.
I would agree with you if that switch. But it's gonna be.
And if they don't switch,
look. But here's the thing. Here's the difference. Shaq isn't stepping out on the perimeter. Shaq would be in a screen and roll situation, which you can help off of. We have the length to defend that. That's the difference. Whereas if I'm switching on, if I'm in a screen and roll with KD with the ball, and Shaq has to switch on KD, and Shaq's island on the perimeter, that's trouble.
So here's my rebuttal. I agree it's trouble, but guess who's not going to get in foul trouble? Because all you're going to do is pull up in front of me. I'm not going to get a foul trouble. I'm just going to raise my hand. You're going to score. You're going to get your 13 to 14. But if I put Shaq in a post, you're going to get in foul trouble real quick. Because it's a lot real quick. It's a lot harder to get in foul trouble if you know the guy's just going to pull up versus if I got to do where did TJ go? TJ gave out. He lost.
Kev's team won.
Oh man, bro, that's what I love about this because it can go any way.
But that's me kind of. If y'all thought I was disrespecting Dennis Rodman, now you know I'm not. I think Dennis Rodman is giving KD trouble.
I agree.
I do not believe if Tim Duncan is back to the basket, set up, calling for ball, he's got Dennis Rodman at his lower back, one dribble, beautiful footwork, hook shot. The height difference is too much there. Too much. It's as simple as having Draymond Green on somebody, I'm not even going to say Tim Duncan level, somebody that has a good post game and good height. You got Draymond Green guarding LaMarcus Aldridge. Dump it down on LaMarcus, he's getting buckets.
What I'm saying is that if that's your tactic, then it's going to fuck up the flow of the offense. You're not going to be able to maximize your game.
Nothing but a bonus.
That's why specifically I said with my team, you can run the triangle offense. You know, on offense, it's just going to be everyone's going to get their piece and it's going to work the way we want to, and we've shown it work.
Yeah.
Right? So what I keep talking about with TJ is what kind of offense are you running? You're going to run 4 out, 1 in? Yeah. That means you're passing and cutting. Like you're not taking the maximum of KD, the maximum of MJ, the maximum of Kobe.
I could have easily dropped Timmy, had Kobe in there with just another. I don't think that team would play well together. I don't see it.
With what? Say it again? I'm sorry.
I said I could have easily dropped Tim Duncan out and just had Kobe on that team LeBron at the one, Kobe's out there, MJ's out there, LeBron. Like, I don't think that team plays well together.
I agree.
Cohesive.
The only way that I see people knocking what I'm saying is because from a when I'm on an offense perspective, you can sag off with Dennis and play him off somewhere. But I think is I'm basing it based on the fact that MJ and Kobe are so good offensively that it's gonna that the plus I get defensively and rebounding wise is gonna offset each other. That's the reason why I had a hard time. I wanted to put Scotty so bad in there because Scotty can do what Dennis does, right? And he can hit mid range. Oh, TJ's coming back in. I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna change it up real quick.
Actually, Kev,
what?
Your team should substitute Scott.
So that's my next question. I'm gonna change it up.
That
I think we can
shut me up. That would shut me up. If it was Scott, that would have shut me up.
But I'm gonna change it up, TJ, because I think we can all argue. Welcome back, by the way, TJ.
Yeah, I had to. My laptop ran out of battery. I had to run downstairs and get the charger.
we want to change it up a little bit. I want to change it up a little bit. Based on what the arguments we had, now I'm giving you one substitution. What are you making?
Ooh.
I know.
Just one?
Just one. If you want, you can have a moment to think about it. You can think about it for a second. Cruz, who you got?
I'm stealing yours, man.
Fuck.
Sorry. I think my squad could still function the way I wanted to function with Scottie Pippen.
Who are you subbing out?
Tim.
Okay. So you're subbing out Tim, putting Scotty. I honestly think that I have very little argument against that one because now the floor spacing, I think the problem you had before with your spacing gets eliminated because Scotty can't go to perimeter and
still an amazing defender.
Still amazing. Obviously, yeah. Defender, point forward, so him and LB James can switch. I love that. Trust me, that's why you said you stole it. You fucking asshole.
Stole it.
But we'll take TJ. What is yours?
I'm gonna have to say Kevin Garnett.
Shit,
Kevin Garnett.
For who?
I would bring him in. I'd sub him out for Kevin Durant.
You can't knock me for having Timmy if you're gonna have KG.
The sub. I'm making a sub to make adjustments for your guys' squads.
No. Are you saying like bringing him in off the bench, or that's your new lineup, Kevin? What's this criteria?
No. He's now that's his new lineup. So he switched first substitution. What would your first substitution be?
He's my sixth man.
Oh no, I thought this was new top five. What was one person you would replace?
No,
not like
no. First sub. My bad. First substitution.
Okay.
First substitution.
No, okay. I got you.
I'm gonna throw a little wrench in the conversation just for the sake of making it fun. I'm gonna take out Dennis Rodman. I'm gonna put Charles Barkley, and this is why. I add a whole nother element to this. Who's gonna be the most hungry for a championship in this 7-game series than Charles Barkley?
But then you have the same problem that I have. You don't have how many balls do you have to go around?
But it's a substitution. We're talking 6-man substitution. At that point, I'm gonna throw that ball in, Barkley. This is your fucking 7 minutes of fucking fame. Every the top of the second quarter and the end of the third quarter, I'm gonna throw that bitch in there. You're gonna give me five baskets. You're gonna be hungry, and you know you're gonna win a chip. You got LB James, you got LeBron. You got LeBron, you got MJ, Kobe, Charles, and Shaq. Mind you, I changed it because my original would be Scotty, but I'm putting Charles for that reason.
I like your first team. I don't know. I don't love Charles. Man.
Oh, so underrated.
I think
very underrated.
I love Charles with your team. I think it was better just having Dennis.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, like I said, I would have put Scotty. I would have put Scotty to switch out with Dennis.
Okay.
And the main reason is actually different than what you said. It's not even the spacing. For me, it's at that point, everybody can play whatever position at the epitome and the optimal of what they can do. LB James can switch, MJ can switch, Dennis can switch, Kobe can switch, Scotty can switch on offense and defense. They all have run the triangle offense. MJ trusts Scotty. Kobe, think about it. You're talking Kobe and Shaq are the second greatest tandem, and Scotty and MJ are the greatest tandem. I have them all on the same court. So, and LB James to be able to distribute. I'm just saying the only reason why I didn't have Scotty in my original 5 was a simple reason of understanding there's not enough balls on the court and knowing that you have to have a glue guy in the championship team, and that's why I put Dennis in there. But that's my last raw. TJ, you get your last call for your team. Go ahead.
Man, I think we are the top scoring team ever in the NBA. And everybody is going to have a tough time stopping us.
What offense are you running, by the way? Real quick, TJ, I'm sorry. What offense are you running?
Motion offense.
Okay.
We're running motion. Everybody's moving, setting screens. We have the freedom to play off of each other. There's not going to be many set plays that we have to run, and the screen and roll is going to be prominent. And
I don't see it.
score.
I think there will be no motion on your team. Everybody is going to be standing still, watching them take turns on offense.
Not with LBJ with the ball in his hands.
It's going to look like the Rockets watching hard. MJ wouldn't let that happen. Kobe wouldn't let that happen.
Disagree. Everybody forgets, and I grew up and watched it.
That
guard was Scottie Pippen.
Yes, the original point
Pippen
forward.
was the point guard. He was the point forward. He started the craze. It was Scottie Pippen. So the fact that everybody thinks that MJ needed the ball in his hands, as Kevin said, they're running the triangle. The triangle has offense principles to it. You're always moving.
It took years to convince Michael Jordan to take that offense. That took a long time. He wanted no part of that offense.
2. It took him 2.
2 years? Functioning the way it was supposed to.
He had the 1 year. He had the 1 year with. He had the 1 year. Doug Collins was there the first year when they played. The second year.
How long was Doug Collins the coach with MJ?
2 years, I believe. 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Yeah.
And they were doing ISO ball with Michael.
Yeah.
And Tex winners hated it. And that's when they moved to Phil. Late, I think 88. They moved to Phil because they lost in 88, they lost in 89, and they won 90-91.
For sure.
So it took about 2 years.
All right, Cruz, your last statement for your team. Your last hurrah.
My last hurrah. My team's cohesiveness is number 1. Ball movement, I also think, is number 1. How they would play together, I think would be a dream. I think I would have no issues all series with my team. But that's me.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is what I believe.
Kev, can I say one thing before you go?
Yes, please.
I love your thinking of the tandems that have already run the triangle. That was great.
Thank you.
You credit where that is, but now you can go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say I think I'm gonna stand by that. I think based on the criteria of like a 7-game series, if we're putting these 5 people in a 7-game series in a championship, I think my team wins. But what I will say is, TJ, if we're talking about a team that has 82 games to figure it out, and then we go into the championship, I think TJ's team does win because they have some time to figure it out. I don't think if you just plop them for a 7-game series, I don't think they have that cohesiveness offensively, right?
Good point.
So that's my hoorah to yours, right? I think you're right that scoring wise and motion wise, fuck yeah, I think it would take a fuck ton of time to figure it out.
It figured out eventually. I think my team has the best regular season record.
You know what? I fuck with that. You know why? Because Dennis Rodman need to go to Vegas a couple times.
You got to go see Carmen.
Oh my God, yo! Social media would. By the way,
hopefully Phil Jackson is your coach.
Of course. And real quick, who the most social media guy that I wish would have been our age would have been Dennis Rodman, 100%.
Oh my God!
So you mad at his Twitter or Instagram?
Yep.
Ridiculous.
100%.
Ridiculous. We did, but we got some good ones, man. I want to say I appreciate you guys so much. I can't wait for the next podcast we do. Shout out. Go ahead and follow us on the Lifers Podcast on both Instagram, Twitter, and the Lifers Podcast on YouTube. And go ahead and follow our Patreon page for exclusive content. We appreciate so much. Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on. It was much.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks for having me,
TJ,
guys.
you already know, man. Like I said, all love, man. I appreciate you guys.
Peace out.
Shout out.